Okay, so I'm finally doing a video. I think I've tried a couple times. If I accidentally posted something, I'm sorry. I was driving, it was kind of crazy, and I was also trying to get directions. People have asked me to post if I was safe. I finally saw that. I finally have enough juice on my phone to respond to a few things. I'm going to kind of do it at once because I need to get up at a semi-reasonable hour tomorrow. So I need to set an alarm and have my phone not die. So the reason I haven't marked myself as safe yet, even though I was fortunate and survived, is because it's still really dangerous out there, and I don't think I definitely didn't realize just how, God, my hair looks like that, just how dangerous the roads are. It's kind of crazy, just reflecting, because my first hurricane that I ever went through, I was born in Rhode Island, that's why I'm a New England fan. Then we moved to Hoboken for about a year, and then we moved to Fort Lauderdale when I was a kid, where the two youngest of my brothers were born. My baby brother Justin and I were both born in Providence, okay, this is an interesting flashlight. Are you afraid of the dark is what this makes me think of. That's going to show my age right there. Anyway, so first things first is, that makes me look like I have gray hair, and it's not gray. I really don't like this lighting. So the road conditions are definitely unsafe. I have no food. It is 1,000,000 degrees in here. I live in Florida. I had food. I was going to go grocery shopping yesterday. Thank God I didn't, to get more. But it is so hot in here that my fridge, my stuff in the freezer is, see this nice, lovely Cheers frozen mug that I got? It is, oh, sorry, you can't turn it. I forgot how Facebook lets you turn but not turn. Oh, you can't see it? No. Anyway, it's a little frozen mug from Cheers that says Cheers from Boston. It is completely watered down now. My entire freezer is watered down. I have the windows open. Well, two of them, one of them won't open. I'm gonna have to go down to one because one got hit by the storm, and so the screen doesn't close, and I don't want anything coming in while I'm asleep. But the streets are crazy. I took a couple little videos, I may post them later, about the lines and stuff, and we had this 8 o'clock curfew, or no, 7 o'clock, and, people needed food, because some people here have grills, and they're like, oh, let's grill what we have. Some people don't. Some people were able to preserve what they could, some, whatever. So Burger King's open, Waffle House had some places open, some of them, I was told the closest place was Burger King. My brain starts driving to the wrong one because they're both technically on the same street, but I'm bad at directions. We all know that anyway. Eventually I make it there, surprisingly, in a pretty timely fashion. I don't know how. I wasn't driving crazy for once in my life, kind of terrified for my life. And then I'm in school right now, trying to take a couple classes so I can get into a master's or doctorate program. Whatever. Ideally, I want to be a research professor eventually, but whichever path I have to go, since I took the long one, because I tried to push myself when I was younger, it is. So I have this class. It's called Research Methods in Psychology. Rotate my phone. God damn it. Research Methods in Psychology. It's a grad research methods and statistics class. We were supposed to have our test on Tuesday. Well, anyone that knows, Monday it was already flooded. Tuesday was insanity. And so he pushed it back to Thursday, which is tomorrow. How am I supposed to study in this? Please show me how. And it's not bright out. It's still dark and dreary. So even when the sun is out, you can't see in here. And I'm grateful there weren't more mirrors, because it could have been horrific, and some of the people that lived on the other side of this lake in the same complex weren't as fortunate. They had parts of their wall that were actually ripped off. I was lucky enough to receive mostly cosmetic damage, with the exception of my front door, which is nothing major. It just really won't unlock right, and the doors kind of contorted weird and whatnot. So nothing major. Oh, and my dish thingy doesn't, and my toilet, but that's been an issue since before that. That has nothing to do with this. I feel bad for my little puppies. So I drove all the way across town to see Andy to get a flashlight because I couldn't find any of mine somehow, somewhere. I searched everywhere. I woke up with no power on my phone this morning. I don't know how, because when I went to bed, I had like 34%. So everyone has been trying to reach me. I tried to respond to everyone I could. I'm trying to do a mass thing while I have phone power, and then I'm going to try and preserve it again because we're not supposed to get power till at least Sunday, if not later, here in my apartment complex. So yeah, I'm going to try to study in this, and I already feel like I'm going to die, so I don't know how it's going to happen. I already feel like I forgot more than I've learned. But yeah, so I don't really want to post that I'm safe until this is all over and the streets are cleared up, because in this drive, by the way, professors that say students will make up any excuse to get out of tests, I think it's the other way around, because when the school is suspending classes until Monday and most of those students are on campus, it's worse in the real world. And a lot of graduate students are in the real world. And so I'm a little frustrated that we're supposed to take it this early, knowing that we won't have power, or I won't have power then, and that could affect my grade. I might have to take it on my cell phone and like pray to God that I don't lose service or something, because I lose service all around. There's trees everywhere. In the drive I had to make a couple times, if you like, I swear to God, they'll think you're drunk when you're sober, because you have to keep like changing your lights for your brights and then like your turn signals, and some lights are working and some are four-way stops, and your brain is just so fried that I was like, I can't wait to get home and have a drink, which I'm gonna have a shower right now because I need it now, because my Walmart's closed, so I can't get my prescription that they filled right after they close. Go figure. And then they weren't open today. So I haven't marked myself as safe yet, just because I don't want to do that and then have something crazy happen, because let me tell you, the branch didn't actually hit my car, but I saw my life flash before my eyes when I came around that curve, and I was going slow. Thank God. Like, lucky for me that I saw earlier today just how bad the driving was, because had I went and done my normal driving in this and treated it like it was nothing and just drove in the dark tonight, I probably would have definitely not be here. And then my GPS decided to take me in a whirlwind, and he's like, don't go this way home. And then he's like, don't worry, if you go this way, your GPS will reroute. Well, I tried a different GPS app, Waze, because the others weren't working mid-drive. So I use it, it reroutes me the way it wants to go. I look and I go, oh my God, I think this must be the street he's talking about, and there's nowhere to turn around. There's like a tree, like there's this much room to get my car in through. So I call him like freaking out, and I'm like, oh, he's like, and then I told him what street. He's like, oh, if you're on that street, you're already fine, just make it right. And so then I make a wrong turn, whatever, because I miss his. So I turn around, finally make it on the right street towards home. Then it decides to loop me around again and tries to kill me. So, Waze, I hate you right now. You kind of suck. You're really good about informing people about things, but you suck at redirecting if you miss. You're so stubborn. And professors that don't understand that students actually have excuses sometimes, you suck even more. I cannot believe that you're putting on a test during a hurricane where thousands and thousands of people are still without power. Like, I get Sally wasn't that strong. It was a 2, but it was a slow 2. It destroyed some of the bridge. I don't know if it's the new bridge or the old bridge. I know the old bridge couldn't withstand it, I'm sure, because it's not meant to hold. Either way, there's no way in or off of Pensacola Beach right now. So, yeah, you have, and if you need to leave from Gulf Breeze to get to Pensacola, you have to go through Garcon Point Bridge, and there's no grocery stores on Pensacola Beach, so they're in a shit situation too. Hence why I don't ever want to work on Pensacola Beach again, because I had to make a decision one time between my two jobs, and it ended up not costing me my second one, but I thought it would. I kind of refused to go into work because there was supposed to be a snowstorm, and Andy was picking me up. I think my elbow was still healing from being shattered, and so he needed to know which place to be at. And then luckily Paul was managing. I don't know if you're actually on there, Paul Mala. If you're actually watching, that's a shout out to you, but I don't know. He was managing that day, and so he let me go home once I said, Andy can't wait any longer. Or, you know, he would have had been to Gulf Breeze, and I would have, like, I don't know. But had I went into work on the beach that night, like they were trying to get me to originally do, until I threw a fit, my dogs wouldn't have survived. I probably would have walked home, but because they were so little. See, now they're 11, and the other one's about to be 11. Sorry, I'm rambling. I had a bunch of really good, valid points earlier and a solid, like, YouTube video and stuff, but I'm really hot, and my brain is disintegrating, and I can't even think anymore. This is, like, torture. I don't know how people lived like this back in the day. I mean, I guess if that's all you know, like, it's the thing I learned in learning class. It's the only thing I remember from learning class. Sorry, Dr. Higa, I failed your class well, I didn't really fail. I failed it, but barely. And, anyway, I made almost a B, C++++. But the one thing I remember strongly from that class was that, actually, there's a couple things. Don't repeat that, because it's been like 14 years, so I don't want to admit that I remember any. 15. I don't want to admit that I remember anything from that long in one of my worst subjects. Is that once you, like, when you give a 16-year-old a brand new car, they love it at first, and their appreciation for it goes down over time. And so, our appreciation for the basic essentials has gone down because we've gotten so used to it. So, like, being without air, Netflix, things that didn't exist not that long ago, things that we never would have cared about, matter a lot to us now. And so, it's crazy to see how the world's changed. It's also scary to be an adult and look at the streets after a 2, even though it was a slow-moving 2, and that's why it caused more damage than a 2 normally would have in terms of damage, because leave it to me to have a logical brain and be like, but this was a 2. We shouldn't have, I don't understand why we have this much damage, and I was awake for it this time. I slept through Andrew, I was a kid. Katrina, I was young. I vaguely remember it. I saw some of the damage. And most of the time it happened at a time where normal people were asleep. My phone was that's probably why my phone died, because of all those alarms. I kept alarms. I have a huge window right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, there's a huge window there in my living room. I remember here's where I was just kind of chilling first, watching Netflix, and halfway not really studying, because I was, trying to motivate myself to study. But when it's pouring like that, it's not. Then I came in here to my bedroom, which used to be all neat and organized, and now everything's a train wreck because I've just thrown everything everywhere to kind of try and, survival and not have to study. So I brought this little bed thingy I have that I used when I had my hysterectomy. I don't know if you see it. And I kind of put it over here because there was no way we were sleeping in the bathroom, because that's my dog's pee space and I'm not sleeping there. I mean, they have pee pads that they sleep on, but still, there's nowhere to actually. And then this is the only other, and it's not really big enough. So I took them behind the bed. We slept there. Or we didn't really sleep there. We laid there till it was decent enough for us to try to sleep. Even with sleeping meds, it really was too scary to sleep. So, I guess it's a good thing to be young and impressionable during hurricanes because then you don't remember them as they are. Because it was definitely eye-opening and dauntingly haunting almost to drive through this. I did try and get a couple lives while I was driving, but if ever my safety was in jeopardy and I couldn't, I just refused. And so it wasn't really safe enough to get much. There might be some recoverable. Oh my god, my eyes are so dark it looks like I have makeup on. That's kind of cool. Kind of not really. Seriously. Look, it looks like I have makeup on. I'm also really pale right now. Oh my god, and you can like see the true color of my eyes, I think. Yeah, you freaking can. That's so cool. You can see the true color of my eye right now. You can see the brown and green. There's a blue rim, but that's not like it's usually hard to see the green and brown at the same time in my eye like that. So that's kind of cool. Here's Ralphie again. Where's Amigo? Amigo! If anyone else is out there wants to throw some feedback in or their experience, I'd kind of appreciate it because I can't sleep in the seat. This has been one hell of a year for Florida. It's been horrible for me. It's been really, really horrible. And I know it has been for a lot of people. Luckily, we're in the same geographic regions, and Pensacola is a heavy service industry, so at least we have like some sort of camaraderie in that. It was really nice to see today actually that we kind of took turns. My neighbor, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in line at whatever gas station, and they didn't really have anything left as far as. I went to Burger King first. The line was long. It was insane. Then I went to the gas station. They didn't have anything, actual food to eat. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going back here. And then we started talking. I was like, oh, I need soda. So I go in there to grab some. She's like, I'll hold your spot. Don't worry. They're like, oh, don't worry. This line's fast. It was fast compared to the Burger King line, but it was like 30 minutes to get soda. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to buy a bottle of wine or something, but my license on me. Shouldn't be admitting that. I had a copy of it, though. Always keep a copy because of my blood work. I keep a copy of my license and my insurance card. But anyway, so I was like, oh, this lady was like strictly carding people. So I was like, no. Even though I clearly am old enough to drink. Like, I've been old enough to drink. I could, well, could I have a child? No, I don't think I could. How old would you have to have a child that could legally drink? How bad is it that I have to think about that? Okay, no. I would have been in, like, middle school to have a child that could drink right now. Yeah. Never mind. Okay. Sorry, that's way off topic. Again, I'm hot and tired, and I took a shot, and it's getting to me. And Jesus Christ, I have black eyes around my face. But it definitely gave me more perspective on hurricanes. It's different. I remember after Katrina hit, it hit Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, like, kind of bad-ish. Like, it hit it stronger than it did, New Orleans. But New Orleans levees weren't up to par, just like the 3 Mile Bridge and a lot of our buildings. Like, they made hurricane standards because of Hurricane Andrew, because it leveled cities, and there's almost 30 years later, there's cities still not repaired because of Hurricane Andrew, because of how it leveled cities. And I'm very fortunate, very blessed that we were one apartment complex over, and that my bed was a few freaking, maybe like a foot, if that, a few inches of concrete away from smothering me in my tiny little sleep where no one would have even noticed. Because my mom and I had switched bedrooms between the master and not. I was the only girl, and kind of depended if she had a boyfriend or not, or her husband later, and blah, blah, blah. So we rotated a lot. And so I happened to be in that bedroom at the time. I think she had a boyfriend, though. But she was in, I don't know. I really don't know why we swapped those bedrooms back and forth a lot. I don't think I want to know. I don't have good memories in the big bedroom, though, so I'd rather just forget that one. But that is the only good one I have there. And later that day, I remember my best friend Danielle and I, at the time, we didn't think anything of it. And we were just like, let's go play softball in the road during the eye of it. And then we went back inside, and we came out and collected snails. And then, it did hit me a little, but we were kids. We were, barely in elementary school, maybe kindergarten, first grade, something like that. We were little kids. And April just moved out. You just moved out, April, because that would have been your apartment. I remember that. And then, but it would have been your living room. So hopefully no one would have, I would like to think. But I don't know, because your family's just likes to do everything together. I'd like to not think about that. It didn't happen that way. But I remember going in there, and the bedrooms weren't, but I remember playing in, the pink plywood stuff, and I didn't know what it was. So it would come out, and, I'm a little itchy. I wasn't that bad. But I didn't really think of fiberglass, that's it. I didn't think about the impact until after. And then it still didn't hit me. I'm like, when Katrina, I was like, it hit us a 3. They should have been more prepared. And again, I think we should have been more prepared for this as a 2. It's disturbing to me that after Ivan hit at a 3, that a city is not prepared for a Category 2 hurricane. Granted, it was a slow-moving hurricane, but to not be prepared for a Category 2 when you live in Florida, you need to get your shit together. That's on you, Government DeSantis, whatever the fuck. Same with the governor of Louisiana and the board. I don't care that you don't get hurricanes that much because you're in the panhandle and you're protected more and blah, blah, blah. You have to prepare for getting one. Yeah, you haven't had a big one in a while. You've mostly had tropical storms. That doesn't matter. It's not worth the cost. What if this had been a 3? It would have been worse than Ivan, because Ivan was a fast-moving 3. This was a slow-moving 2. You live in a hurricane state, and you're putting people without power. There's tree stumps in the road that are, full-on big chunks of trees. You make a turn, and then there's, random 4-way stops, and then some lights are actually working, and you don't know which one's which. Your brain is so confused by the time you're making drive that, people don't... I remember I was on 9th Avenue making the final leg of my drive by the mall, and it actually was a working stoplight because it's right by the hospital, and I didn't even think about it. And I'm I think I still had my blinker on from something else. My brights were half whatever, and the person behind me didn't even beep or anything because they understood that it was so scary what we had just driven through. And that one actually had a marked cone at the top of the tree, but not at a point you could see from our angle. And in a car as small as mine, it's the front branch could have snapped it. That was probably one of the few times. That wasn't the time at the life before my eyes time, but that was pretty close. It was scary. It made me slow down. It made me drive through a couple of areas perfectly, actually. One, Andy's I don't know if I could have drove through it. And when I told him I drove through it, he was like, how did you drive through that? And I was like, I don't know. I just got there. It kept taking me in circles, and I knew I couldn't turn around, so I had no choice but to get through it. So I did it. Slow. But when you don't know it's coming, and this huge tree is just bam, and you have to slowly move out of the way and hope that, like, it's scary. It's very, very scary, and the way it's being handled is even more scary, and the fact that people are going to go even longer without power because we can't see on the streets to get anything fixed or to handle anything properly. It's just, this is a scary year. I'm really grateful for the people that were on the road today, though, because they were all very awesome. No matter how comfortable or uncomfortable you were with, I don't really think anyone was comfortable with it, but the people in the bigger vehicles that, like, could handle it, like, I don't know, everyone was nice about it. They tried to, like, if they knew something, they could see it before us, they would clear a path for the smaller cars, and that part was nice. There was a lot of camaraderie. You definitely could tell when people were getting frustrated. I'm kind of one of those people that's usually positive until I'm near my breaking point. And I was so positive, like, at Burger King and at the break area and stuff, and this one girl was like, I'm trying to explain to her, like, because her order got bumped off or whatever, and I was, like, explaining it from their point, because they're slammed, they have the line wrapped around the door when we're supposed to be in a freaking stay-home order, and they're little teenage kids working the front, and I'm like, if the computers aren't synced together, like, if he, because she's yelling at this kid, and he's not even the one that took her order, and I'm like, oh, it's not synced, and she's like, I understand, like, snapping at me, and I'm like, it's not my fault that, like, your order got lost, like, I'm not happy waiting an hour for a cheeseburger either, and there's no ice, so you can't, that's the whole reason I wanted a drink, I mean, you can't get condiments, you can't get anything on your burger besides condiments on the side, and if you ask for extra, you might get couped. So it's a tough time right now, and some people are pulling together and some people are pulling apart, and I'm definitely grateful for the friends that I have that pull together. I'm grateful for everyone that checked on me. I'm grateful for everyone letting me just vent right now because I really needed to, because it's been a really stressful day, and driving in that, no. I'm proud of myself, though. I handled it pretty freaking well, actually, and I didn't die. I almost brought my dogs with me because it was so hot. It's so hot in here, it's killing me. But I'm glad now that I didn't. I was like, I don't know what it's going to be like. If something happened to me, like, part of me was like, I'd rather, but at the same time, I just couldn't. And I know that I have amazing people that would take care of them, if not little old men. So, and if I had them with me, I would have been more distracted, and I don't think it would have went as safely, because it was pretty scary as it was, especially that one turn coming up the curve on the way home. I don't even know what street it was on, because it took me a different way than it said. I screenshot it, the multiple routes home, and then it get in my car and it locks me into one route and wouldn't let me change it, and then kept rerouting me. It's like, Waze is that B word X that you never want to be around again, because they're going to keep you in the same circle that you keep trying to get out of, and they just keep sending you back to them, back and back and back. It just wants you to be on that road, and if you miss the turn, even if it's 5 miles later, it's going to send you back to the turn, even if it's not convenient. So yeah, I won't be using Waze anymore for a while. But I am going to try to study. I really don't think I'm going to be able to study. It's freaking hot. Sleep? I don't know. What are you guys doing out there that are stuck in this no electricity, depressive, hurricane state? I gave you the coldest water we have. There's 2 bottles left of cold water. And there's just warm water. And it's not really cold. I'm sorry. Anyway, if anyone's up and bored, I think well, actually, I don't know how much phone charge I have left. So, anyway, have a good one. Hope you're all doing well. But that's why I haven't answered if I'm safe or answered everybody, because I haven't really been able to. So I did one long live. I'm going to post it on YouTube, I think, too. I meant to have more of a point to it instead of rambling, or more points and be more succinct, but it's really hot, and I am coming down from a pretty bad panic attack after driving several hours in this and having my car almost hit by a tree that was knocked over, coming around a curve multiple times. And then there were power lines. Oh, there were power lines hanging too. Like, usually you're like, okay, just go in the middle lane. It's the safest. Yeah, no, there's power lines there. And they're harder to see. So it was a scary day driving. If you survive driving today for more than an hour, you should get your license if you don't already have it. Be a default. Anyway, take care, everyone. I will try to answer everybody that individually contacted me. Today, like I said, I'm not marking that I'm safe yet, because I should be safe throughout this, but I don't know where I'm going to have to go to take my tests, and this driving is scary. There's cars all over the sides of the road that have broken down, lost gas, got flooded, whatever, everywhere, and there's stuff in the roads, there's trees, branches, in the least place you'd ever expect. Some lights are working, some lights aren't, and your brain, if you expect a four-way stop, you expect a four-way stop. If you're used to lines just being go, 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 like, you almost don't even think, you just go through. And so your brain just doesn't really know how to handle it. And so I would say that I'm not going to mark myself safe until the power and streets are cleared, because that's when we'll be safe from this storm. I feel like that's pretty dangerous. Surviving the actual storm was definitely, a feat, but I think that surviving having to drive and whatnot in this crazy power conditions and not having power, and I was told, like I said, early Sunday, for my apartment complex, I got fortunate that I didn't live on the other side, because they had a lot more damage than I did. At the same time, I still have to take tests in like less than 24 hours with no power. So I'm not going to mark safe until the roads are cleared. But I am safe from the actual hurricane. I got very lucky, and I moved with my dogs to as safe a place as possible. So I hope you're all safe as well, and good luck, and let's get 2020 the F over with. This has been a terrible year. My God, we have Cam Newton playing for the Patriots and Tom Brady as a Buccaneer. We should have known right then and there to cancel. Okay, we have a pandemic, and then that happens. We should have just canceled this year a long time ago. That's all I'm saying. 2021. Vote for me. I'm going to vote for myself. Not really, but, whatever. I really cannot believe that I'm that tired that it looks like I have makeup on. Anyway, peace.